Hey guys, there was kind of a lack of videos on YouTube for changing out the keyboard on this particular system. System in question is the Sager NP7870 or Clevo N870 HP6. This procedure will relate to several different Clevo models. Clevo does not really change the design too much between models. They might update something, but many things are still the same. I had a Clevo computer from 2008, and that still puts the fans on max spin. So that is a thing. The removal of the keyboard is extremely easy. I'll go over it. I'm not going to take this out, but I will go over it, and it's, again, very easy. Don't worry, you can do it, even if you don't know what you're doing. Here's the old keyboard, whatever that was. I have, as you can see, thoroughly used this. This keyboard and this laptop is 2 years old. I use it for work, I use it for gaming, I use it for everything, so it sees a lot of use. Normally I just polish keys smooth, which you can see kind of on a few of these, but on these particular keys I just completely wore them out. The problems I was experiencing a couple months ago, I lost the backlight on the keyboard, so it just didn't light up anymore like this. So no backlight. And then later on, my W key began to stick kind of randomly, and I at the time could not tell if it was me, if it was the game. You know, it's one of those, did that just happen, what's going on type things. But it got more and more pronounced until the last week that the key would either stick on or off. So playing a game, I would either be stuck moving forward, which is a pain, or I wouldn't be able to move at all. The R key would stick off, so when I would hit it to reload, it wouldn't reload. And in a game like Borderlands, when you have stuff tied to your reload effect, it really is a pain. So that's that. All right. Here is the model numbers for anyone interested. Model number is CVM15F23USJ430B. Now, the new keyboard I put in, the model number was identical for the last 2 to 3 digits, which were different. The only difference I could see was instead of this foil backing, there was a copper backplate. So your new keyboard will have a copper backplate. If it has foil, it's an old version. I immediately knew the reason for this is, if you've noticed on this particular laptop, it gets very warm right here. This is where your processor and GPU are. It's less noticeable over here because you don't really, I mean, unless you're using arrow keys, you're not going to notice. But particularly here, you can see where I rest my palm. So it gets hot right here and radiates out. So they've added a copper back plate to help mitigate that. I kind of believe that the heat pushed from the i7 in here is what killed my keyboard. You can see very clearly there's a burn-in mark from where the fan and the heat sink sits, and not as pronounced on this side, but there's still marks there. Which those marks correlate to the keys I'm having trouble with. Anyway, you got 2 screws that hold it to the laptop. You're going to remove those screws. The centermost screw, you're going to use a tool or a paper clip to push through until it pops the keyboard free at the top. So at the top here and on the sides, you have these plastic retaining clips. They go all the way around the rim. On the bottom, you have tabs. These do not pop free. When you pop the top free, you're going to pull it up and out. But before you pull it out, lay it down like this and remove the ribbon cables. They're very easy to remove, and they're very easy to replace because of these little plastic tabs. Thank you, Clevo, or whoever made this keyboard, for having these pull tabs. I remember many, many laptops where the ribbon cables had no such thing, and when you go to remove them or even insert them, you would tear the cable. So this is very nice. Anyway, you have 3 cables. The motherboard actually has a 4th socket for another cable, which is missing right here. So don't worry about that if you don't have it. On my computer, obviously, I don't. So you're just going to slide in your ribbon cables in the order you removed them, or in the sockets you removed them, because they all go one way. You'll have a little toggle on each socket that you'll pull out when you remove the cable, and when you put the new one in, you'll push that little toggle in, and that'll secure the cable to the motherboard. From there, you just hook these tabs into the tray of the laptop, push it down, and then just start working your way around the edge, clip, 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 and you'll hear a positive click every time it goes down. You'll see the keyboard pop into place. It's very tight, the retaining system. You don't really need the screws if you lose them, but it's always a good idea to, again, secure it to the motherboard. If anything, it's probably used as a grounding source, a tertiary ground, no less. I very doubt that it's used as a heat sink of any kind. But that's that. So, again, it's very straightforward. Don't really need a visual representation. You just remove the 2 screws on the back. On the back of the laptop, there are 2 little logos that show a keyboard. Those are the 2 you remove. The center one, you're going to push at that with either a micro screwdriver like one of these, or a paper clip, until this tray pops out up the top, and you just pry along the edge until it pops free. Flip it over, remove your cables, and replace in reverse. Very straightforward. Now, before you clip it into place, make sure that you test it. So plug the cables in, boot your system up, and test all of your function keys. So function keys are these up here. Some of them are not marked. Some of them still have a function. As I demonstrated a moment ago, function F1, or not F1, but function 1 is not shown to do anything. That puts your fans to max spin and sets them back to automatic. So test your function keys, test your normal keys, test shift, make sure everything's working, test your LEDs, make sure they're working. Mine started to work immediately when I plugged it in. Like, the driver didn't have to do anything. It recognized the keyboard was connected and immediately put it to the color I had before this quit working. So that was nice. So yeah. Overall, it should take you about 2 minutes to change this out. So here is roughly a 10-minute video on how to do a 2-minute repair. If you're worried, don't be. The motherboard is fairly protected. When you're pushing from the bottom, you are pushing on this peg, so you're not pushing on the motherboard. Go away. Got stuff popping up. Now, when you're pushing on the keyboard, again, it has retaining clips. You're not pushing on the motherboard. You're not hurting anything. And you pop that out. The motherboard has a metal tray across the top here, so you don't have to worry about hurting the motherboard here. You're just going to pull the old cables out, slide the new cables in, and clip them into place. If you're absolutely worried about it, you don't want to do it, you're afraid of damaging it, take it to your local phone repair store, electronic repair store, and they'll probably either do it for free or for like $20. It's a 2-minute repair. But I just want to do a video on it because a lot of the videos I saw were either extremely outdated or not really representing the model. But it seems that they're all about the same now with this, at least with mine. Anyway. I'll post this up again so y'all can see that, and have a nice day.